So those three, I've identified three already licensed, regulated U.S. companies that have emerged. I've identified the crypto of the New York Stock, the New York Stock Exchange of crypto. I've identified the Goldman Sachs of crypto, and I've identified the Ameritrade of crypto.
Okay. Are you keeping those names quiet? No? Or
No, let's go over them.
Yeah.
Now I'm projecting that all three of these, if you go again, look at what I showed you before, market cap of the regulated infrastructure providers right now for the markets in the world, $600 billion right now. I'm projecting that the total market caps of these regulated crypto infrastructure providers will at least by 2030 will be at least half of that number, 600. That's $300 billion. Okay, so for starters, I believe that the first three companies each have the possibility of going. The first three that I've identified to go to 10 billion market caps by 2025, and then we'll see what happens after that. Now, based upon that, one of them, the exchange, I'm projecting, will grow by 35 times from its current value and that exchange is T0.
Okay.
Okay. T0 is going to grow by 35 times in value to a 10 billion valuation by 2025. Okay. And the reason why I think T0 is the solid horse to beat, and your institutional investor watchers should be all over this thing, is they have a token offering right now that's underway, a $250 billion token offering. And
what's the value of the token now?
The value of the token is $10.
$10.
Okay. So it's 35 million tokens outstanding. That's going to close later this, actually it's going to close next week. The token token offering, which has been available. So they're going to be well capitalized, well financed. They've got a partnership with the Boston Stock Exchange. They're going to emerge as the leader. For a couple of reasons. First of all, Overstock owns 80% of them. And Overstock.com was the first online merchant to accept Bitcoin for products and services. They were also they're on the forefront of everything in this crypto area. Overstock is also the first to launch a crypto securities token offering, and successfully launch one. But their founder, Patrick Byrne, is just a visionary investor I've been tracking, a visionary CEO. He's the founder of Overstock. He's a young guy, and he's really got a vision to change the world. I really think he's going to be like the next Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, or whatever. I really think
moving in this direction. I'm going to have to go with you on that.
He's moving in that direction. The other thing is they brought in a group out of China, which was the first institutional investor in Didi Chuxing. And Didi Chuxing has gone from a minuscule market cap 5 years ago to second only to Uber in terms of as a private company. It's gone to like a $50 billion market cap. So they got the most powerful, what I consider, they've got a creme de la creme premier group they just announced is buying 160 million of these tokens, of these 250 million tokens.
Got it.
So I believe this thing's going to rocket right away to become a unicorn company like that. I mean, this thing is really, people need to be aggressive and get all over this thing, because there's nothing going to stop this thing now. Because with that base and their base, that group out of China, which are very savvy and they're visionary investors as well, with a lot of capital, because they invest in Didi Chuxing, this is going to be a big winner. Okay.
Got it.
Now let's talk about the Start Engine. Okay. Sure. Start Engine's really going to become the Goldman Sachs of crypto. Start Engine was founded by Howard Marks, and he's their CEO. But Howard Marks is an interesting guy, because out of college at the University of Michigan, he went into and he actually became a programmer. He's got a computer science degree. He wound up as a young man and took over Activision when it was when it's really after the video game company, when it was having serious problems. Got Steve Wynn, the Steve Wynn that it was recently had to leave, Wynn.
Heard the name.
Yeah, right. We've heard the name. To be this partner, and basically this financial partner, they went and took this Activision. It was practically in the throes of bankruptcy. They took this thing, and now Activision is the biggest video game maker on the planet. Okay, I mean, he was the chairman of Activision. So Marx left Activision, saw the need for entrepreneurs to be able to get financing. Computer had a incubator that he and his partner, who's now the chairman of Start Engine, had put together. And so they started Start Engine, and Start Engine has emerged now as a leading investment banker for startups as well as cryptocurrencies. So they're regulated by the SEC. They just did an offering at $5 a share that they closed off on. And their shares are liquid. But the point is they closed that offering off. They're doing now another offering at $10 a share that people should be all over this thing on Start Engine, because they've got over 20 cryptocurrencies right now that are all listed on their platform, or crypto securities tokens that are raising capital on their platform. So they are really in the early. They're really another one, and I'm projecting that their valuation is going to go up by 70 times. Over the next, between now and 2025, I'm projecting that it'll go up 7 times between now and 2020 on Start Engine. And this is another one that's the second was the investment. Now we've covered the exchange, we've covered the investment bank. So now let's talk about the online broker. Who's going to emerge as the Ameritrade of crypto?
Right. Who is it?
Well, it's Choice Trade, and Choice Trade. Let me tell you about them. Choice Trade is one of the. There's a handful of online brokers in the United States that are pure what I call online brokers. Choice Trade was founded in 2000. Best about the time the dot-com bubble burst, so they were never able to get the capital to compete with E-Trade, Ameritrade, and Interactive Brokers. Okay, so that's why you don't know their brand. However, the guy who founded them is still there. He's taken the company, and because they're now licensed to do business in all 50 U.S. states. They've got clients in 110 countries. So they're doing business globally. And they've continued to keep their technology in line. Even though they didn't have the money to go market, they've had to keep their technology really ahead of the curve on E-Trade and Ameritrade. And for this reason, they have huge. They've announced they've been raising capital for the purpose of becoming the first online broker to not only do crypto, enable investors to invest in crypto, but also to invest in startups and also in the secondary market for startups. So Choice Trade, if you look at this performance chart here, how they stack up against E-Trade, Ameritrade, and Interactive Brokers. They offer 4 different things that the other 3 don't offer. It's because of their technology. They offer robo trading. They offer startups investing in terms of secondary markets. So remember, in a previous interview, we talked about how what's happening is people can now, like a piece of real estate, you can go buy a startup, and now because of the Jobs Act, you can actually list it like a piece of speculative real estate. Buying a piece of real estate out, thinking the interstate's going to come in.
Yes.
Okay, all of that. Okay, so what's going to happen is that so you can list your startups, buy and sell startups on Choice Trade. You can buy and sell cryptocurrencies on Choice Trade, and you can also, they're also micro investing. They're going to usher in micro, which will enable investors to invest as little as $10 into opportunities. That's how low their cost basis is. So this thing is
equity trades.
And this is so critically important because once you integrate, and here's an example of a mock-up. They could look at this up here. This is an example of a mock-up of their their account statement here, and you can see here that you can see where I've outlined the areas where you see crypto and startups. They're going to be the first broker to enable an investor to have the complete package. Okay, so Ameritrade's not going to let an investor do that. E-Trade's not going to let an investor do that, and this is going to really accelerate, okay, the adoption of startups and cryptocurrencies by mass investors worldwide is what this is going to do.
I get it.
So, yeah. So this one, I'm projecting a 35 times increase in valuation between now and 2020.
On Choice Trade.
On Choice Trade. On it's going to become the Ameritrade of online, of crypto online. And I'm looking for a 350 times your money increase by 2025. Okay, and again, with this, what we've discussed in this interview here is that these have huge competitive advantages because it will take all these crypto exchanges at least a year to two to pass the regulatory muster to compete with these guys. So those millions of people that are right now trading cryptos on 200. If you're trading a cryptocurrency or a crypto securities token anywhere in the world, all of these exchanges are not operating within the government regulations. All the governments are going to regulate them. It's going to take time for them to become regulated. You've got to be a holder. You've got to get in and be an investor in these three crypto U.S. regulated exchanges. They're regulated by the SEC.
I get it.
One thing I forgot to mention to you is there are two public companies that are plays in this arena. Okay. One of them is Overstock.com. It's 80% owner of T0, the exchange. So people can go buy Overstock.com.
And still get the momentum play.
Right. And I'm projecting Overstock.com will go up 7 times in value over the next few years at least. So it's a good play. There's also the one we'll talk about in a future show, which is called InvestView, and it's a penny stock. Okay, it's a penny stock.
I know of them.
Yeah, it's a penny stock company, and it's in the infrastructure side as well. Through its Kuvera brand. It's got a subsidiary called Kuvera, but we'll talk about that
in another show.
In another show. Bullsandbears.net, as you can get access to this information.
That's Bulls in Bears.